Good night. So I want to do a step-by-step tutorial. Not necessarily a tutorial, but how to enter into the maintenance mode for the electronic parking brake on the Honda Vezel RU3. This one is a 2014 model. Right? The reason for doing this, the front brakes, the slide pins seize, so we took them out yesterday and cleaned the slide pins and greased them, right? But that happened in the night. Wasn't able to create the video because for time it was late. So I decided to check the back as well to make sure that the slide pins for the back, for the rear brakes, good. Right, so the method I'm using is the scan tool. Again, the launch, the X431, there is the 8-inch. Right, so we're using the launch X431 scan tool to go into the service function to retract the electronic parking brake motor. So I'll do a screen record on the launch, and so I will add it to the video, do a side-by-side. First thing first, we want to put the ignition on. So press the power button twice. Right, all the lights light up. Right, ignition on. Then we come to the scan tool and we enter the X431. Right, we could go through the intelligent diagnose, or we just use the local diagnose, or we could access it through the history. Right, Honda. Right, then we press OK. Session loading. Right, we're using the 16 pin DLC. This one is a Japan. Right, so it's retrieving the vehicle information. Right, it's a 2014. So we select 2014. Right, we know what we're looking for, so we're going straight to we went system selection, and then we scroll in until we see electronic parking brake. So we scroll in, right, electronic parking brake. So we select the electronic parking brake, right, the module information will come up, press OK. Right, so we enter here into the module. So we go into the service function. It gives us some intelligent light telling us about if it's a hybrid or not. We put in it in maintenance mode. Right, so then we press OK. And we enter into the sensor calibration or the brake pad maintenance mode. What we're going in is the brake pad maintenance mode. Right, so it's telling us the conditions that we need to be met. The vehicle must be stopped. Release the parking brake. Right, battery. So the 12-volt battery must be over 10 volts. In order to prevent the battery voltage drop during this procedure, ensure that the battery is full. Do you wish to continue? Right, so before we hit continue, we go in and release the parking brake, right? So to release the parking brake, foot on the brake pedal, and this is the parking brake here. Right, and the parking brake release. Okay? Right, so then we press OK. Right? So when we press OK, telling us it will take 25 seconds. Then we press OK. And hopefully you might be able to hear the motor retracting. Right, so it's telling us that the pad retracted. So it's a transition. No, transition to pad exchange mode has been completed. So there's if you want to change the rear disc pads, you enter this mode, but in my case, I'm not changing the disc pads. I just want to take out the slide pins and grease them. So it's a perform brake pad maintenance. When the pad maintenance is completed, you must return to the normal mode in order to return the pad to the original position. Right, so we're leaving this here and we go in and do the service on the vehicle. Right, so we take off the wheel, retract the e-brakes so we could compress the piston, and we want to check and see if the slide pins on them free, because the ones in front, as I said before, wasn't free. So we had to take them out, clean them, and apply some silicone grease. Right, already slacking the bolts and make a mistake before. These here 13, right? So we take out one, we take out two, right? And up here, tab at 12, take out this 12 bolt so we could slacken the brakes line. And now we just slide the caliper, right? And we just shift it out of the way. Before we shift it out of the way, right, we'll press it back in using this tool here, and we're pressing it back in to make it easy to put back in. The only reason we could press it in like this is because we had already used the scan tool to go in the brakes maintenance mode, so the motor already retracted. Right, so we just go in gentle until it stop, right, and then we greasing the pins. Right, so we stop there. One thing to note, once you're dealing with brakes and you compress the piston, always remember before you drive the vehicle to press the brakes pedal about a couple of times, about 2 or 3 times, to make sure that the piston come out. Or else if you try to drive without pressing the brakes, and the piston will come out, when you mash brakes, the vehicle wouldn't stop and you could get an accident. Right, so we wipe out this one. We take the sill glide and we put not too much, about 1 inch. Right, some cases you use our gloves, but I don't have my rubber gloves, my back gloves, so and we just take my finger, spread the grease. I try to spread it evenly. You don't want to spread it too thick, nor too thin. Right, you want to spread it enough for it to move freely. Right, and then we put it back in, get a little spin, right? Move it a couple of times, right? See how easy it's moving. Alright, and then same thing for this one. Wipe off the old grease. Apply the new grease. Apply it evenly. Right, that similar procedure we did to the front, but the front was worse. The front, it wasn't even moving. So we have to apply some serious force to get the front ones out. Right. And again, we just roll it all the way a little bit. Right, make sure it's moving freely. Right, that up, so we see them moving freely. Right, and we're good to go. Cover back the grease. Just give this a little shake to make sure it free up in the thing there. Similar to this side here. Right. We're good to go. Right, swing it back into place. Press this accordingly. Screw. Right. Right. And basically we just lock this in place. Use either, in this case we're using a vice grip, but we use a thin spanner that could fit. So we just grip in here gently, making sure that we're not damaging the rubber, and tightening with the ratchet. We always want to make sure and catch it with your hand first to make sure it's not crushed. Right, and then tighten it. Alright. Right. Top one good. Now we're moving on to the bottom. Same thing, make sure we clear the rubber. Right, and we're good to go. So now we just put back this brakes line in place. Put back up the 12. Right, the reason why I take out the brakes line, because with this in place, it have a lot of tension, so you have no kind of play to get the caliper off. Right, and because I use the scan tool to retract the e-brake, the electronic parking brake, I didn't bother to, I don't disconnect the connector because no need to. So I just slacken this, shift it out the way to get enough room just for the caliper to slide out. Right, slacken it just to give enough room and put it back in place. And that is it there. So just right, so we just have somebody going and pump the brakes a few times. Right, and right, that's good. So the piston reach. Right. So you see how moving freely there. Right, so when we reactivate the electronic parking brake, it will pull up all of that slack one time. Just in case if anybody wasn't aware of how to put the vehicle in maintenance mode to to change the disc pads or to service the rear brakes. That's how we're doing it. So once you're finished, you're leaving the ignition on while you're servicing the brakes pad. If you're using this method, you just press OK. Right, and then it will ask you, do you wish to finish rear brake pad maintenance? Once you finish, you say yes, OK. And if we listen again, we will hear the motor making a noise. But what I would do, I will go outside the vehicle this time with the scan tool so we could hear the motor making a noise. Right, so I buy the rear wheel. That is the caliper there. And I'm going to press OK. And we will hear the motor. Right. Then we press OK. So this come back up here. Pad return to neutral, position, caution, execution time, etc. And we pressing the enter button. So when we press the enter, we're listening for the returning to normal position. Right. So it returned to normal position. And we hear the EPS system transition to normal pad position. This function procedure is finished. Press OK. Good night. Right, so when we press OK, it tells us to turn off the ignition. Right, so press the power button once. Lights come off. Right. We press OK. Let's see, turn it on. Press the power button twice. 1, 2. Lights come on, ignition on. Right. Then we press OK. And maintenance mode. Right, so we finish. And just normal parking brake on. Right, so simple as that. And that is it there. Using the scan tool to put it in a maintenance mode.